Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating article from Bits About Money, a very Chicago gamble. It's a wild ride, folks, involving casinos, complex financial structures, and some seriously questionable municipal politics. Buckle up!
A Chicago gamble? Sounds intriguing. What's the core issue here? Is it just about the casino itself, or is there something more?
Oh, it's way more than just a casino. It's about a stock offering for Bally's Chicago Casino, which has some incredibly unusual stipulations. The city of Chicago, in its host community agreement with Bally's, mandated that 25% of the equity be owned by women and minorities. But the way they're doing it, well, that's where things get messy.
Messy how? Is it illegal? Isn't that kind of discriminatory?
That's the million-dollar question, and the article doesn't definitively answer it. The application process is explicitly discriminatory, only allowing women and minorities to invest. The author points out that this might be legally problematic, given the 14th Amendment and strict scrutiny. But they also acknowledge that there's probably a legal memo somewhere justifying it. It's a fascinating ethical gray area.
So it's not just the discrimination. There's something else making it messy?
Exactly. The valuation is another huge red flag. Bally's claims the whole pie, the economic interest in the casino's future profits, is worth $1 billion, but the author argues that's completely made up. Bally's market cap is only around $1.5 billion, and that includes all their other assets. It's like they're giving away a massive chunk of the casino's value for practically nothing.
Wow, that's a bold claim. What's the author's reasoning behind that?
The author points out that if 25% is worth $250 million, the amount they're trying to raise, then the remaining 75% should be worth $750 million. But that's more than half of Bally's total market value. It suggests the $1 billion valuation is artificially inflated, possibly to make this offering seem more attractive.
So it's a sweetheart deal for select investors? And the structure is complex, right? There are multiple entities involved.
Absolutely. The capital stack is incredibly complex, involving multiple layers of companies and loans. The author even includes a diagram that looks like a spider web. It's designed to make it difficult for the average person to understand, which is probably intentional. There's also this unusual loan structure, where Bally's essentially lends investors money to buy the stock, with the loan repaid through future dividends.
That sounds incredibly risky. What are the potential downsides for investors?
Huge downsides. The author estimates that investors could easily be underwater for years, maybe even decades. The projected return on investment is incredibly long, and the risk is extremely high. Plus, there's the tax implications. Bally's is taking a position on how the loans will be taxed, but the IRS might disagree, leading to a massive tax bill down the line.
So the author is basically saying this whole thing is a bad deal, a very Chicago gamble indeed?
Precisely. The author concludes by saying they wouldn't invest, and neither should you. It's a fascinating case study in how complex financial structures can be used to obscure risk and potentially exploit less sophisticated investors. And it highlights the potential for conflicts of interest in municipal politics.
It's a cautionary tale, for sure. Thanks for breaking it down.
My pleasure. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.